Rabotai, tonight we have a beautiful shiur, and like always, and I'd like to ask everybody a question. We have Albert with us, the Sarur over here. Maybe he's going to give us the answer to this. Nice shout out for him, Sadiq over here. All right. So it says like this: It says a very interesting pasuk over here, that if heaven forbid there's something called an Eved Ibri. Stephen, you ever hear what an Eved Ibri is? What's an Eved Ibri? What is an Eved Ibri? A Jewish slave. But let me tell you something. You hear it, the Torah in this week, Parasha Behar, speaks about it, and it says that if a person is very, very poor, he's on the bottom of the barrel. By the way, I just want to let you know on a side note, the pasuk says, Efes ki lo yeh becha evyon, which means you're not allowed to be poor. But sometimes a person, heaven forbid, a million times, sometimes a person just, it happens to be, something happened to the guy, I don't know, whatever it was, he just became extremely, extremely poor. That's what it is. And now he's so poor that he has to sell himself in order to make money. So now he sells himself to be an Eved, to be a slave to, let's say for example, in this pasuk is speaking about, in pasuk lametet, in Perek Kafei, it says that he sold himself to another Jew. So another Jew bought a Jew. That's what's going on over here. Another Jew bought another Jew. And it says over here, if it happens to be, if your brother, which is another Jew, heaven forbid a million times, he had to get sold, and you bought him. Lo ta'avod bo avodat aved. Do not work him like a slave. Right?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What?
Don't take advantage of him.
Don't take advantage of him, and don't work him like a slave. Right? Avodah. It says, Rashi says, Avodah shel genai, she'en ikar bo ka'eved. Don't make him as if he's a slave. Meaning he could do work, but don't make him as if he's a slave. Like tying my shoes. You know, a slave, imagine you own a slave. Imagine literally you own a slave. You tell him everything. Listen, tie my shoes. Let's go. Oh, by the way, my Jeep is too high. Listen, I need to bend down. You step on him, you go up on the Jeep. Yeah. So if you had one, you would do that. I was like, yeah. He's like, I wish I could buy a slave. Boom. By the way, my shoes, polish them. Boom. A slave has to do everything. A slave has to do everything. So over here, you have to understand, it says, oh, by the way, you're buying him, you can't treat him with disgusting things, even if you're buying him as a slave. Why? Because everybody knows, ki avadayhem. They're my slaves. They're not your slaves, they're my slaves. Ki avadayhem asher hotzeti otam me'eretz Mitzrayim lo imkum ka'aved. So therefore, you see over here that you can't do that. So now a person might say, so what's the purpose of me paying full price for this slave, right? I should pay half price. You can't do everything.
I might as well buy a goy.
I might as well buy a goy. Why would I buy it? If I have a choice of, I could buy the Jewish slave or I could buy somebody else. So why would I buy this Jewish slave?
You're helping him out.
What do you guys think?
Make it easier.
You shouldn't. Buy the goy.
But he's saying you shouldn't. He's saying that. So what David said tonight is a beautiful answer. In life, sometimes, you have to understand, it's not about you. It's about them. And in life, sometimes you gotta look away a little bit and say, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll give you an example. Can I give you a perfect example? Case came to me. Somebody calls me up this week. Rabbi, what should I do? I have a worker in my business. Listen to this story. It's a true story. I have a worker in my business. Now, I pay him every week. I pay him good money every week. And this week, he came, literally the whole week, he came 3 hours late to work. The whole week. And I want to dock him his pay, which is a nice portion, because I pay him well. So since I pay him well, if I dock him a nice portion, it'll be nice. Am I allowed to do it? Should I do it? What do you think? As a rabbi, what would you answer? So my first question was, first of all, how badly does this guy need the money? Like, how badly? Is he well off? Are you paying him so well that he could support his family with it? And if you deduct, he won't be able to. Like, what's the story? What's the story behind this guy? He says he's good. He's a good Jewish guy, and I know for a fact that my paycheck makes him survive. At least, even not only survive, but it makes him live comfortable. And if I take away, he won't live so comfortable, for sure. I know that for a fact. That's what he tells me. So I said, you want to know Meikar Hadin? Meikar Hadin, you have rights. You listen, at the end of the day, you pay him by the hour. He missed how many hours this week? 15 hours. You're paying him, let's say, for example, besides the commission that he's making plus the hour, you can deduct him an easy, let's say, $1,000 easily without a doubt in mind, and he won't even have a claim against you because you pay him by the hour and you pay him plus commission and you pay him this and you give him bonuses, so he can do it. However, if I was you, you have to look at what this pasuk is saying. This pasuk a little bit is saying, let's look behind it. He's never usually late. This week he was late. He's never usually late. Why do you want to pay him less? Do you have the money? Yes, I have the money. So why do you want to pay him the less? Right? Just to prove a point? Just speak to him. Tell him, listen, please, next week, please don't be late. And also, if he comes and he's taking advantage of you, you'll be able to tell him right away. But for 1 week, all these months and years that he's working for you, it's okay. And I quote him this pasuk, because this pasuk is literally saying that. This pasuk is saying that if your brother is sold as a slave because he has no money, even though you have full rights to treat him a certain way because you bought him fair and square, still the Torah is saying, do not treat him like that. Why? Just remember that he's your brother. You know what I just said? I think this is a clear proof to this answer. No, Stephen, what do you think? You hear what I'm saying? So I told the guy, I said, listen, you got to look at not only business, you got to look at hesed. The more employees that you have in your company that's Jewish as well, you are doing a hesed to their family. You're supporting their family. You're right. They're doing work for you. You're right. But look, this person he took advantage this week, and you have full rights to deduct him. Comes the Torah and says you might be right 100%, but look a little bit further than just what's inside the box. They say, look outside the box a little bit. Without this money, what's going to happen? He's going to have shalom bayit. He's going to come home. What is he going to do? He's going to say, honey, you see, you told me to take the kids to school this week. You needed a break. And look, I got a quarter paycheck this week. You see, I'm not taking the kids. Don't ever tell me. Don't ever this. Don't ever that. Fights with his wife. Shalom bayit. So you got to think outside. What is this check going to do to this fellow right now if I deduct from that check? It's beyond what's the norm. Meikar Hadin, you're right. Go to Psak, you're allowed to deduct. But if you look more in the whole situation, that's the way you view, a Jewish person views a knot. I was with a very wealthy guy once, very wealthy guy. I was at his, he invited me for he had a dinner. He invited me for the dinner. The dinner was at a certain time. I got there early. It was like an hour and a half away. He asked me to come. I said, no problem. I go, I'm sitting on the porch, and we're waiting for the people to come in, and came early. And we're sitting down, and he gets a phone call. I'll never forget this. This is an amazing story. He gets a phone call. On the phone call, the guy calls him up, and he says, so-and-so, da-da-da. It's like, yeah, how can you do? You know what? I buy from you, right? You know, of course. He said, you're a very good customer of mine. Yes, I do. He's like, guess what? 2 blocks away from me, this store is also buying from you, and he's selling the same product as what I'm buying from you, and he's selling it for the same price that I'm buying it from you. How could he sell it for that price without making a profit? Must be that you're selling it cheaper to that guy. So please, can you do me the same deal, whatever you're doing to him? He says, 1 second. He looked at that company, which was 2 blocks away. He saw the price. He said, you're right. I'm selling it cheaper. To him, I'm gonna match you the same price as that on the phone. Oh wow, thank you so much. He gets off the phone. I said, why'd you just do that? He said, let me tell you something. This customer needs me very badly. He needs my goods. I know he needs my goods, and I know, technically speaking, even if I wouldn't have given him a discount, even if I didn't that low, he would have still took it. But I looked outside the box. I looked a little bit, let me do a chesed with him. Let me do a little bit more. You see, not every time it's going to happen like that. But this time he said, you know what, I felt it's right. The guy down the block got it. And he saw that. And that. Let me do a chesed with him and I'll throw him a bone and I'll give him the same price. Sometimes in business, you can't be a cutthroat. You know what cutthroat means? Cutthroat means, wait, you missed a day? I remember I got a call once. They closed for a holiday, a Jewish holiday, and he wanted to take off money from one of the offers that weren't Jewish. And I said, does he want his money? Yeah, he wants his money. I pay him. Well, yeah. So why are you taking off? Is he good? There's questions like that. Is he a good worker? You gotta sometimes think outside the box just a little bit, not just think numbers. Numbers, yeah, you're right. Oh, he's late there. I can deduct him here. I can do that there, and I can this that. But look outside the box and think to yourself, he's a Jewish fellow that's working for me. If he's a Jewish fellow that's working for me, let me see the whole picture. Let me see the whole picture. Now again, if he's going to take advantage, you know right away he's taking advantage of me. Oh, listen, 1 week I accepted. 1 month I accepted. But now every month you're doing this, that's it, I'm done. That's understandable. But for 1 month he a little slack a little bit. You can always ask him, is there a reason why you're late? Is there a reason why everything okay in the home and this? And he could break down to you and say, listen, by the way, this was happening, and it could be like a crazy case. And you never even thought about, oh, I'm sorry. And therefore you'll be understandable a little bit. But I think this is a very clear proof. In this week's Parasha, in Parashat Behar, where it speaks about an Eved, it's in Perek Kafei and Pasuk Lametet. And it says this. It says that if you're buying a slave, a Jewish slave, if you're buying a Jew as a slave, which heaven forbid it could be that a Jew needs money, so therefore he sells himself as a slave, just know you can't treat him like a slave. You can't give him the disgusting things to do. What do you mean? I might as well buy a goy slave. What am I buying a Jewish slave for? I might as well buy a goy slave. You're right. But right now you got to think beyond the box. This guy needs money right this second, and the only way is only this way where you could buy him as a slave. So therefore you're actually helping him. Even though you're getting less for your money, but you're also helping him. Think outside. Think in a Jewish way. I'll give you an example. Another example. You have a flower shop. You have 2 flower shops, You have a flower shop that just opened, right? And it might be, let's say for example, $1 extra for the bouquet. It might be. You're buying flowers anyway. So you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to go to him, grand opening, for his sake, even though he's charging me more, I want to give him hizuk. Let him feel good. The grand opening, the first week that he opens, the second week that he opens, even though I know he's charging me an extra $3, let's say, or $5. I know. But what? I know when I walk into that store, when he has that grand opening, within the week, within the month, I know he's going to get hizuk. I'll buy those flowers from him, even though I'm paying extra money. Just to give him hizuk. Wow! You know what that is? You know what? Because now you're not thinking just me. You're thinking we. Because we as an Am, we're an Am Yisrael. It's not, there's no, what do they say? It's what? Ani. It's not Ani. It's not I. It's we. It's Am. It's Am Yisrael. When you know that, and when you feel that way, and you feel like you're part of the Am, and you feel like, I remember I think that it was an ice cream store that opened up like a few blocks away from my house, and my kids wanted to go, and this and that, and there was another ice cream store that I know. So you know what? Let's give him the business. He just opened. You know what? We're going for ice cream anyway. Let's give him the business. Let's drive maybe another 2 blocks extra out of the way to give him the business. And then he feels good. Why? Because this is the Pasuk is saying. This is a very important lesson, by the way. Because your whole life and your whole mindset is turned around now. It's not just a business aspect. It's not just business. If it's just business, you're right. He came late, I could deduct him. He wasn't there, I could deduct him. You could. But then you could think, again, he's not taking advantage. He's always on time. One time he was late, or 3 times he was late, or within the month, or within the week he was late every single day. Okay, doesn't mean the next week he's going to be. If the next week and the week after, then you can tell him something. But until then, have a little bit of a understanding attitude and understand and say to yourself, wait. If I deduct him now, maybe it's just this week. Let me not deduct him. Let me give him this week. Let me give him a full. And by the way, he knows that. The worker himself knows. Oh, by the way, sir, I was late. Here you go. He'll work even harder for you next time. And this is exactly what the Torah, in a way, is saying. Mikar Adin, you can take away his money. Mikar Adin, you can say, no, listen, sorry, I pay you by the hour. You're late. I'm sorry. But Lifnim Mishurat Adin. What's Lifnim Mishurat Adin? go beyond the letter of the law is to understand this situation. And you understand, listen, he needs your money to live a normal life. And therefore you give him the right honor by giving him that paycheck. That's what it says. Even though you have full rights, that you bought him as a Jewish slave, don't treat him like a slave. Don't treat him like a slave. And also, even when you have a worker, as a Jew, don't treat him like a slave in business either. There was a story that I'll never forget till today. I asked a fellow, I don't know why, I shouldn't have asked. But he was doing something for me. He's like, you work for us? Yeah, I work for that guy. Oh, that guy's the nicest guy. I shouldn't have said that. And all of a sudden he said, what? You know what he did to me today? I said, what did he do? I shouldn't have done that, right? But listen what happened. He told me that he came late to work, and he sat in his desk, and the boss came with him with a lukewarm type of coffee, like it wasn't boiling hot. He says, what are you doing? He's like a mantras type of guy, and I don't know that, but like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You coming late? What do you think this is? He takes his coffee, spills it in him. I'm not joking. He told me that he spilled his coffee on him. He says he's a little majnoon, a little crazy. So I was thinking, listen, he doesn't now go home, change, and come back. I was like, how do you stay in an office like that? So he tells me, Rabbi, you're not understanding. He pays me so well. He pays me such a big paycheck. I'll never get a paycheck like this anywhere I go. That's what he tells me. And he's supporting my family through this paycheck. I can't leave. But, that's what he said, but to disrespect another Jew, even though he's your worker, you got to be careful not to do that. You got to be careful not to. Imagine somebody's working for you, and you always you take even water. You late? You take a whole water. You late? Get out of my office until you get back into shape like that. Oh my goodness, what are you crazy? Some bosses can be even worse. They take the desk, they chuck it. What do you think this is? You're in my office over here. You listen to me, my rules. Tach! He chucks the whole table. Huh? You know what I'm talking about? Happened to you? Happened to you, huh? I'm serious. People, you can't imagine what happens in people's offices. You can't imagine. Because I don't know, whatever you do, you might not be working in office, you might be working at this, that. You can't imagine what people can go through. All of a sudden, the guy chucks tables, chucks this, chucks that. Chucks a whole mug. He wants to miss him, but he chucks it at the wall. What do you think? The guy's scared. Oh my goodness! And he's doing it. What? Now you have to understand. You have to treat him, even though he's your worker, and you're giving him the pay, and you're doing that. You still have to show the dignity of a Jew, of a human being. And this is this week. This is this lesson. You can all look it up. It's in Parashat Behar, Perek Kafei, Pasuk Lamed Tet. Now, that's one important lesson that I want to discuss. And the second important lesson that I want to discuss is a very, very important lesson. We know this already, but it still needs to be drilled into our heads. Huh?
It's a good example.
Which one? With the desk? The mug, yeah? You like the mug one? The guys, why are you late? You know you're gonna miss. Why are you late? You ever come late in my office? You see that door? I'll throw you out that door head first. You understand me? Sometimes I wish there was like a boss behind it. Feels good. I'm the boss. No, you gotta also be careful. Because the worker also has to know not to take advantage either. Now the worker takes advantage. Oh yeah, what Rabbi Palacci said, he shows it to his boss. You gotta listen to this, all right? This class you gotta listen to. You gotta listen to this one. The guy's like. Also, the worker has to understand not to take advantage either. Both sides. But this is a very important lesson because sometimes a person can get carried away. He really can get carried away and he doesn't have any understanding towards another Jew, towards another person, and that's totally wrong. You have to understand the other person's situation. And I understand that's what it is. But both ways, the worker and the boss. A little bit. People like to have that honor as the boss. You know what I'm saying? They like that. You listen to me. It's a yetzirah in a way where it's like I own you. Like not you own me, but I own you. You got me? This is what you got to do. If I don't have these papers on my desk at 6:00 tomorrow, I'm telling you right now, Don't come tomorrow to the office. Like, oh, he's on the guy. No. You gotta, he's a Jewish guy. You gotta play the cards right. Okay, we could go on and on with these examples, but I think everybody got the point by now. All right, just remember this lesson because one day you'll be a boss, or one day you'll be a worker, whatever it is. But the bottom line is, you have to know how to act. You have to know how to act. It's dignity. It's the way the Torah is saying. But I bought him. A guy might say, "What do you mean? I bought him as a slave, fair and square. He has to do everything I tell him." No, it's not true. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't do any menial services. He doesn't do. Why not? Because he's Hashem's slave. At the end of the day, remember, he's a Jew. As a Jew, he's Hashem's slave. He's not your slave. He's Hashem's slave, he's not your slave. Hashem took him out of Egypt. He didn't take it, and he also took you out. So make sure you listen to. Okay, let's go on. The next lesson that I want to talk about and that I want to discuss, which is very, very important, is in the beginning of the parasha, and that speaks about by Daber Adonai Moshe Behar Sinai Lemor. Daber Bnei Yisrael Matalhem. What does it speak about? Kidavo el haaretz. What does it speak about? The Shemitah. So there's a very famous Rashi that I want to discuss and that is, what does it say? Ma yan Shemitah etzel Har Sinai. What does Shemitah have to do with Har Sinai? Why over here it's saying that Hashem spoke to Moshe Behar Sinai, meaning from Har Sinai to tell him. V'alo kol mitzvot ne'emar b'Sinai. Rashi has a bomb question. Rashi says, oh, by the way, before we start speaking about Shemitah, I just want to let you know something. We're going to speak about Shemitah. And everybody knows the law of Shemitah. What's the law of Shemitah? The 7th year, what? Don't what? Right, don't work the field. Don't work the field. The 7th year, don't work the field. Good, very good. That's beautiful. But if you look, it says, Hashem told that Moshe, that mitzvah, where did he tell that mitzvah? Where? At Har Sinai. So Rashi says, wait, one second. Isn't every mitzvah given from Hashem at Har Sinai? So why are you specifically saying
This mitzvah.
This mitzvah?
It was to show you that every mitzvah was given in the same detail as Shemitah.
That's very good. Right, that's Rashi's answer, right?
Yeah.
You did Rashi this week.
I did.
Big shout out to Stephen. I knew it. Because he got it right on the money. He got it right on the spot. Like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, Ella, what do you say? Say it again, please.
Because he said, Rashi said, because just like Shemitah was given with all the details and all the minute items, so to complete
right, saying just like we're going to read about Shemitah and all the minute and the detailed mitzvah. Just like Shemitah was given, Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking right, how to make this mitzvah in detail. And why is it saying Shemitah? Because Hashem, we're about to show you the detail of it. Every mitzvah, just like it was given in Shemitah was given in detail, so to every single mitzvah was given in detail, the smallest detail for the biggest detail from every mitzvah in Har Sinai. You got it? Jonathan? Yeah, it's good? Repeat that or no? You got it? Yeah. Okay. So that's beautiful. That's Rashi. Solid. I want to just say over two inyanim about this. One inyan is, you have to know that sometimes less is more. What does that mean? Sometimes less is more. I'll give you an example. A person might say, you have to know. Nowadays, I don't know if it's such a big test, but back in the day, it was a very big test to refrain from working on Shabbat. So you have a guy working 7 days, and he's making, let's say, $30,000 a week, and you has a guy working 6 days, and he's making, I don't know, it might seem he's making $20,000 a week. So the guy who's working more is making $10,000 more. But in essence, you might think that. But in essence, if you look at Har Sinai. Was there higher mountains than Har Sinai, yes or no?
Yes.
Of course there was. Everybody was fighting. Put it on me, put it on me, put it on me, put it on me. Har Sinai did not fight. And even though he was less, he got more out of it. So too, what Torah is telling you, remember from Har Sinai, even though sometimes you might think, wait, I got to do more, if it's going against the Torah, then it's not more. It's really less. Har Sinai didn't fight, and he got everything. Do what's right in your life, and you'll see automatically you'll get that Beracha. You know, a guy can make a lot of money, but if he doesn't have Beracha in his money, then I'm sorry to say, it's useless. And the Gemara gives many examples, that if a person does something wrong, he won't see siman beracha from that money that he did wrong with. He might make money as a thievery way. He stole, whatever he did. You think that money is going to build beracha? What happens? He takes that money, he invests it in a property. He gets a tenant, and he's like, wow, I just got the best deal. I'm getting a AAA tenant. Who'd you get? I got Walgreens, I got Target, I got this, I got that. He bought the biggest thing, the biggest real estate. $20 million property, all the money that he cheated people with. I'm giving an example. Lav dafka that, anything. And all of a sudden, what happens? One day, the AAA tenants, they don't pay. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 10 months, 3 years. The guy's flipping out. What happened? Because you need beracha in the money. You need beracha. How do you get beracha? By doing what's right. By doing what's right, to be honest in business. And I'm going to tell you another thing. How to preserve your money. Melach mamon chased. How do you preserve your money? Listen to me carefully. Listen very carefully. I'm telling you what the Gemara says. Melach, these exact words. Melach mamon hased. What does that mean? Salt your money. Salt your money. How do you salt your money? Chased. When you lose it. Lose it how? Lose it meaning give tzedakah. Give charity. You want to preserve your money? Salt your money. Just like you salt meat, you preserve the meat. You have to salt your money. How? When you lose, what am I losing? I mean to say, giving tzedakah, you're preserving your money. You're preserving your money. And therefore sometimes it's saying over here is what? Less is more. Less is more. Learn from Har Sinai, it was less, but he really got more. Sometimes you might have to give. And a lot of times you have to give. But you want to preserve your money, that's the way you preserve your money. By giving charity, that's the way you preserve it. By helping others with your money, that's the way you're going to preserve your money. That's facts. A lot of times the person has a lot of money, all of a sudden that year, what happened, Rabbi? I'm going crazy, I had so much money, I don't understand what happened to my money. The whole year, he's waiting till the next Rosh Hashanah, that's what he's doing. I can't wait till the Rosh Hashanah. The Chilak. Rosh Hashanah, come by. He's like, why? This is failing, that's failing, that. Because he didn't salt his money. You gotta salt it. How? Give. Let your hand loose a little bit. Make sure you're giving the 10%. Make sure. You gotta make sure. And when you do that, you'll see things coming out this way, that way. Where did all this money come from? How did it even come? It happens. It can happen. But that's very, very important. Less is more. But let me continue, please, for another minute. There's a guarantee that if the people kept Shemitah, the guarantee he has Beracha when?
3 years.
3 years. Which 3 years?
It's a debate.
Which 3 years? What does the Torah say, the 3 years? You're good. Which 3 years?
The 7th, the 8th, and the 9th.
6, 7, and 8.
Oh, yeah.
6, 7, and 8. Torah says 6, 7, 8, right? So you get Beracha. 6, you get, why do you need 7? You need it because you need Shemitah, right? You're not working. 8, you need it because you need another year to actually produce until you actually make more things. 6, right? So I have a question for you. So if the Torah promises you Beracha from the 6, 7, and 8, so then I already know if I'm keeping Shemitah the 6th year, meaning to say Shemitah is the 7th year. So the Torah is telling me I'll get Beracha in the 6th year. So if I get Beracha in the 6th year, so I know I'm going to have much more. The whole Beracha is even before I did Shemitah. Correct? Yes or no?
Correct.
Yes or no, Yonatan? So what's this Beracha? Imagine I tell you, by the way, don't work the Shabbat, because you're going to get on Friday, you're going to get so much on Friday, don't worry, you're going to get double. So is it a test for you to work Shabbat? No, you have double already. So Torah is telling you, keep Shemitah, I'll give you triple in the year 6. What's going on? Henry, what's going on? So you know what the answer is? Our rabbis teach us that the Beracha is that, like I just said before, sometimes you could have a certain amount. Let's say you're making $100,000. Every year you make $100,000. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The sixth year you'll also make the $100,000. But that $100,000 now, you'll have so much Beracha in that money that it'll last you 6, 7, and 8.
So you don't get it on the 6th?
No, otherwise there's no test. You get the Beracha of the money that you're making on the 6th, so that can last you 6, 7, and 8. Otherwise, there's no test. Yeah. Oh, the Torah says, by the way, keep Shemitah on the 6th year, you're going to get triple. Okay, I got triple. No, I was not going to do it. Oh, you're going to do it? You're going to do it? Of course you're going to do it. But what if I tell you, no, on the 6th, you're not going to get the same exact amount. But you have to have emunah in Hashem so much that Beracha is going to last you for the same amount, is going to last you for 3 years. Then it's a little bit tricky, huh? That's tricky. Now it's like, you're going to have faith in Hashem? You're not going to have faith in Hashem. Think about it. You're not a farmer. But think about whatever you do. Imagine 1 year you take off your entire business. Imagine. Well, what would you do? What would happen if you take off 1 year? What do you do? No, I have 1 year off. In the middle, imagine you have a father. He has 10 kids. He's 45 years old. He's trying to support his family for whatever this, that. All of a sudden he tells the guy, by the way, this year I have to take completely off. I'm not paying you. What, he's catching me? Okay, I have to do it. I'm sorry. Imagine guys are farming now in Israel. Imagine a guy's farming now in Israel. Israel applies today. Imagine guys are farming in Israel. What do you do? Your faith has to be so strong in Hashem. It has to be so powerful. It has to be. Now I'm going to tell you this story. Remember this story forever. And I could say it every single year in this Parasha. It's an amazing story that happened in the late 50s. There was a moshav called Komemiyut. Listen to what happened. This moshav was a religious moshav. And everybody around it, there was all fields. He had a field. Moshav Komemiyut had a field. And it happened in the late 50s, documented story. What happened was, they were religious, and the other people around them were saying, what are you doing? Oh, we're not working on the 7th year. What? You're not doing any work? You know what? You know what's going to happen to your field if you don't do it? I'm not doing any work. You're crazy, and they're all telling you, you're crazy. It's crazy. They all go nuts. You know what happened that year? Should I tell you what happened that year, Shemitah?
Yeah, they're both failing.
You'll never believe it. You'll never believe it. You ready what happened? The Gemara says that when there's a grasshopper, a certain type of grasshopper, you have to fast. The whole town has to fast. You heard that? Imagine they see, the Gemara says, even if they see one wing, imagine they see a certain grasshopper. Yeah, very good. How'd you know that? What daf? You remember? What do you learn? Good guess. Yud Zayin. Is it on Yud Zayin? Let me think now. It's not on Yud Zayin. Yud Zayin is something else. But close. It's near Yud Zayin, that's for sure. Yud Zayin speaks about the Mishmarot, about the Yayin, about the Beit HaMikdash. It's a little bit later than that, yes. But close, a few pages later. It says over there, even if a person saw a wing of a certain grasshopper, the whole town has to fast. Why? Because it says that basically what happens is, if you saw this type of grasshopper, that means this grasshopper is on its way with a storm of grasshoppers coming. It's like, there is a storm of grasshoppers about to come. And it says the town has to fast. Because when this grasshopper comes, his whole family's coming right behind him. Like, the leader, the godfather of the thing goes down there. I'm coming. Oh, buddy, the whole SWAT is coming. The whole SWAT. So everybody has to fast. So says why? Because when they come, they can destroy the whole field. And that's what happened in the late 50s in Israel. These grasshoppers came. They stormed the field in Shemitah. They went around. They have pictures. They went around. These grasshoppers went around every single field, destroyed the field from whatever it was. The only field that they didn't destroy was Moshav Kol Miyut. Not one grasshopper went inside that field. Tell me, is that not wild? It's wild. Because when the Torah says, they tell you, jump. What do you answer? How high? One man can't jump. I could jump. You tell me how high. Hashem, you tell me how high I jump. You know what it says? Lo b'shamayim. The Torah says lo b'shamayim. Because what? So what do you mean lo b'shamayim? Because if it was b'shamayim, you know what we have to do? We would have to go to Shamayim and get the Torah. You know that? That's what the Chazal teach us. Imagine how the Torah lo b'shamayim. What's the pshat? Because if it was b'shamayim, I would go up to Shamayim to get the Torah. What do you mean? I'll figure it out. How? I'll figure it out. Listen, if you want something so badly, you'll get it. I'll figure it out. How? I'll figure it out. Go ask anybody. You really want something? Yeah, I figured it out. I just figure it out. I just make it happen. That's what you do. You really want something. That's what you do. So therefore, Rabotai, you have to understand something. Why is it saying Shemitah is in Har Sinai? Why? This is the law that Hashem, because you know what? This is proving that what? That the Torah is divine from Hashem. Because who could give you a guarantee that if you keep the 7th year, this is in every single generation? Who could guarantee you this? Imagine somebody guarantees every single year from every generation. If you don't work on the 7th year of Shemitah, the farm in Israel, just know you'll have Beracha the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Who could guarantee that? And it's something that we can see. Yes or no? The Torah is guaranteeing every single generation. And therefore it says, Shemitah, why is it speaking about Shemitah at Har Sinai? Because it's showing the Torah that I gave at Har Sinai is divine, is from me. Should I prove it? One of the mitzvot I could prove it a lot of mitzvot. But this mitzvah I could prove 1,000,000%. Go test it, go and prove it. I'm giving a guarantee. If you don't work it, you'll have Beracha for 3 years. Wow! Who could say that if you're not God? This is proving that Hashem is Hashem. That's the one He gave it. Because you can't say that if you're not 100% positive. And these are the 2 lessons that we're learning tonight. The first, like we said, the big lesson was about the Jewish slave. If you're buying a Jewish slave, what he said, treat him like with dignity. It's the same thing. If you have a worker in your business that's Jewish as well, even a non-Jewish, you gotta treat with dignity. Why? Because he's your brother. He's your brother. And understand the situation. The second thing is we're learning tonight is that what? Torah is divine. Of course we know Torah is divine. But you can't guarantee it. You have to have Beracha on your money. How do you have Beracha on your money? When you follow the Torah. Melach, Mamon, Haser. Remember that. Preserve your money. Give charity. Have a great, wonderful day. And I'll just end off with one last thing. Okay, we're good. Have a great day, everyone. And Bezrat Hashem will continue next week. Bezrat Hashem with the Parasha.